Morning.
Morning, Rayon.
So suppose you're just walking, minding your own business, when suddenly you hear a harsh comment about your culture and your religion or your background. Suppose a black man is walking on his way home from work in the city, and as he enters or as he's approaching his house, he hears a racial slur. Suppose a Christian man or a Christian woman or whatever is walking somewhere, and yet that Christian hears someone nodding off inappropriate comments about Christianity. These are just minor examples of hate speech. Hate speech is very general and is not exclusive to just verbal speech. It also contains condemning actions as well. It includes verbal and physical instances of condemning one's culture, religion, background, and ethnicity. It is a growing problem, not only in the United States, but all over the world. I am a Muslim, and I come from a Muslim family, and I was raised in a Muslim community. And it is unfortunate that long ago, I used to be a victim of hate speech. Only 2 years ago, as I was coming out from my local mosque in Queens with some family and some friends, there was a small rally of a few people outside my mosque. And they were all they were waiting for us outside of the mosque, and they were holding up posters and signs and yelling hurtful and degrading comments about my religion, Islam, and about us. And they told us that how Islam was evil, and that how all Muslims were terrorists, and that how we did not play a positive role in society. And those comments that I heard that day was very hurtful and offensive to me, and also to many people from my mosque. We felt very offended by that. We were even more appalled, however, by the fact that there were several police officers right there. And despite the loudness and the disruption that the people were causing, because they were disturbing people, the police did nothing about it. In this society, there are many words and actions that have many offensive meanings and effects behind them. Words such as nigger, kike, and spit, just to name a few, are prime examples of words that depict racism and hate. And this is quoted by C.R. Sunstein in his book Democracy and the Problem of Free Speech in 1993. Many of these words foretell danger and evoke the shame of the past. Shame of the past includes slavery, massacres, riots, and horrible events of violence or suffering in history. These words are used by people to publicly insult and humiliate others. These words are hurtful and harmful, and they should be outlawed and deemed illegal. A great example of this is the Dove World Quranic controversy. And in July 2010, the Dove World Quran burning controversy arose when Terry Jones, a pastor of the Christian Dove World Outreach Center in Gainesville, Florida, announced that on the anniversary of the September 11 attacks on the World Trade Center, he was going to go and burn 200 Qurans, which is the holy book of Islam. He gained great media coverage for this, and it resulted in international outrage and hostility, and it caused great protest over his plans and received pleas from world leaders to stop his plans. According to a new book recently called Violence and Terror 2012 by John Corrigan, the author, he reflects on this incident and states that Jones' threat sparked protests in the Middle East and in Asia, in which 20 people were killed and many others were hurt. This shows us the great and grim impact hate speech has on society. Pastor Jones continued, and he dubbed this day International Burn a Quran Day, as a wide range of politicians and religious groups strongly condemned the burning of the Quran. According to the New York Times on October 9, 2010, Jones said that how he canceled the event after saying he would never burn the Quran. On March 20, 2011, he actually burned the Quran. So, as a proud Muslim and as an American citizen, I was definitely appalled by this action. This action is a form of hate speech, and it is directing attacks and degrading people. An action which had disastrous effects and could have had even more. Think of how many more people would have died or been hurt if this had carried on. I was even more appalled that it was an event filled with hate, anger, and prejudice against a specific religion, my religion. Yet Pastor Terry Jones was never arrested or tried for this lowly act of hatred. He was condemned by many, but he never got the official punishment that he deserved. Some of you may ask, well, why should he be punished? America is a nation of freedom and equality, right? So what if he wants to burn it? That's his right, isn't it? All these questions come to mind when we think about hate crimes. But what is the use of freedom of speech if when a lot of the free speech we use out there is negative and has no use in society? This brings me to my topic, which I hope to persuade you what I'm talking about, is that hate speech, such as this, should be illegal. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution protects the right of freedom of religion and freedom of expression from government interference. But look at it this way. If we have freedom of speech, and then we claim to be a nation based on equality, where is that equality when many people have to be ridiculed by these words and actions and nothing can be done about it? If they ever do retaliate, they're prosecuted. Hate speech has been relative to many prominent groups in society, obviously such as Muslims, Christians, Jews, and after the 9/11 attacks, gays and homosexuals, and particularly minority groups such as African Americans and Hispanics. Hate speech has played a vital role in racism and bullying. Let us go back to the time of the civil rights. When we look back, what do we see? The lynching of African Americans. This is also a physical form of hate speech. Terry Jones and others who engage in these acts of selfishness do not realize the effects they cause. There is anger fueled into millions, and violence becomes more widespread in retaliation to those acts. To conclude, these words and actions of hate speech have been a negative impact on American society and should be banned. Words that have no positive meaning and teach people to differ from other people and to hate another religion, culture, or race. This is wrong, and many people have seen or even experienced negative effects of hate speech. What good will come from free speech when most of the free speech we have or the next generation, the generation we have, are negative? Hate speech must be legalized. If hate speech is illegal, religious groups will come to a better understanding and have peaceful relations. People, racial and ethnic groups will live by the fact that maybe they won't be humiliated or picked on by another minority group. These acts are not being treated with the intensity that they should be treated with, and people are suffering the effects. People are being offended, hurt, and humiliated, and often angered by these acts. While we are living in a country, the basis is policies and equality. There is definitely a huge contradiction. Thank you.